On today's hot sheet, I'm discussing the best week to buy a home in 2024, the producer price index. That data was released this morning, and weekly unemployment. Today is Thursday, September 12th, 2024. I'm Byron Lazine, and the hot sheet starts now. Welcome into the hot sheet. Let me know in the live chat which market you are tuning in from. If you're getting value from everything that we do at BAM, including the only live show on the internet that gives you a 24-hour look back on housing, this show right here, the hot sheet, Monday through Thursday, every Monday through Thursday that the markets are open. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, if you get value from what we do at BAM, make sure you join us in Las Vegas in October. 17th and 18th is open to VIP attendees for our event at BAM Mania. October 18th, we still have general admission tickets available. General admission ticket holders are also invited to the registration cocktail hour at the Legacy Club on October 17th. Every attendee will be invited to that, as well as Stadium Swim event after the event on that Friday evening. This is an event like no other. It's not just about what you'll be learning from all of the speakers and the content. You can check that lineup out on bammania.com, but it's also about who will be in the room. For those that are attending, I think you're going to be shocked to see and network with some of the biggest and brightest minds in all of real estate. bammania.com for agents of change. You want to be prepared for the end of the year and moving into 2025. bammania.com. BAMX members, all of you get 25% off either package, VIP package, or the general admission package. Reach out to Jill at nowbam.com if you need help setting that up. bammania.com. All right. We have some really big movement. We have some inflation data that we're going to get to. But we have some big movement here on the 10-year and the 30-year. I just want to lead with that. Usually I end the show with that. Well, let's just go ahead and lead with great news. So yesterday, this is not me not refreshing my screen from yesterday. This is another new 52-week low on the 10-year that was hit today. Obviously, a little bit of bounce back when the unemployment and PPI data came back. We'll get into all of what those numbers came in at, but a new 52-week low on the 10-year. Huge news, but bigger than that. Better than that, and hopefully maybe even trending into an improved state today, is a new not only 52-week low, but the lowest level on the 30-year fixed since February 2nd, 2023. 6.11, down from the day before at 6.22. A huge move there on the 30-year fixed. We can go back to that date that I just mentioned. Let's go back to February. We'll go back to January 1st, 2023. I think it's worth highlighting that time frame that I just mentioned, the lowest level since February 2nd, 2023, when we hit 599. A consumer, here's February 2nd, 2023, we're at 599, we're at 6.1 now. I think I'm just going to wait till we get back to 599 again. Or 5.8 maybe we can get to. That sounds better. If we're at 6.11 now, we're on the downslope. Why don't I wait? Well, we don't know where the 30-year fix is going to go. Obviously, there's a lot of economic data and things that can change these numbers, just like it did last time we hit down in the low sixes or 599. If we go back to that lowest level, February 2nd, the lowest level in over a year and a half, February 2nd, 2023, what happened? Well, the next day we were up to 6.2. That's higher than we sit at the end of yesterday's reading. The next reading from there, we're at 6.4. Within 30 days, on March 2nd, 2023, we were at 7.1. We were at 7.1 within 30 days. So for consumers who ask, what do we think? And lenders are really good. People have been, a loan officer, mortgage lender for over 20 years. When I talk to them, they're very disciplined. Hey, where do you think rates are going to go? It's always a question. Where do you think rates are going to go? Um, they're very disciplined and say, I just don't know, because over 20 years, they've been wrong so many times, or their predictions rather have been wrong so many times. You try to predict this stuff, all of a sudden something happens in the Middle East, or something happens in Europe or wherever that you weren't even thinking about, wasn't even on your radar. And it impacts a global economy, which impacts a US economy, which has an impact on the 10-year, which has an impact on the 30-year, right? And so the rates are so hard to predict. We're on a really good momentum state right now with the Fed planning to cut next week. All indications are that it'll be a quarter point, not a half a point. We're getting good, readings from inflation. We're going to go over PPI in just a little bit, what that reading was this morning. So we have good momentum, but we know how fast those things can change. So when a consumer says, well, gee, I really think I might wait. What do you think? I think the rates are going to, only go lower. Hey, this is what we know right now is today is the lowest level since February 2nd, 2023. What we also know is when we hit 6% on that day in 2023, within 30 days, we were back up over 7%. I'm not predicting that's going to happen, and it's no indication of what's going to happen over the next 30 days. But what we know right now is that we're at the lowest level in over a year and a half. And we know these things can change quickly in the environment that we're in right now. But what I believe is a unique opportunity for you, consumers, and for buyers out there in particular, is to take advantage of not only this momentum on the 30-year fix that we're appreciating right now, but the coupling that with the seasonality opportunity of negotiating a great deal. See, you, Mr. Consumer, Mrs. Consumer, have a chance to not follow the herd, to be the Warren Buffett of the buying community, to go the opposite direction when everybody's fearful and we're going into election season and we're going into the winter when nobody else buys. And I'm just going to wait for the rates to go down. I think the smart buyers are going to go the opposite direction. In fact, Realtor.com would agree. They just came out with a report. The best time to buy is September 29th through October 5th. Now, this is a national analysis. The best week offers a balanced mix of market conditions that favor buyers relative to the rest of the year. Okay. Typically every year they come out with this around the same time. Okay. They're calling this end of September the best week to buy, beginning of October, rather, the best week to buy nationally. Okay. That makes a lot of sense because you can go back 20 years in almost every market in America, and the lowest prices in those markets are going to be in months like December, January, Northeast. It might be February. It might be March, even in certain years. But those 3-4 months, December, January, February, in a 12-month cycle. And I just did this on the last 20 years in the Connecticut MLS to show the team what I've always shown buyers, right? Which is when they ask me when the best time to buy, is there a best time to buy? And most common answer that they hear online or whatever is like, you should be buying in the spring. So cliche. No, I want to have some data. There actually is a best time to buy. We're entering it right now. We're just getting lucky that not only were we entering this time to buy, seasonality wise, where there's less competition and you have a stronger ability to negotiate with these sellers who want to close out a deal before the end of the year. Not only do we have that, but we have the wind at our back with the 30-year fix, and we don't know how long that's going to last. Point being, we can go back to 2023 when we had the last lowest level, and it didn't last very long. We're hopeful that it's going to last. We're optimistic that it will last. We're also realistic. Like, a lot of bad things would have to happen for us to get under 5%. So what are we really waiting for? We're at 6.11. Like, we're waiting for 4.9. Do you know how many people would have to lose jobs for it to get to 4.9? Realistically, quarter one, we're going to be in the high fives. We're not just going to snap down into the fours without some type of economic disturbance. So if we're waiting for another full point on the 30-year fixed and we want the economy to grow and we're optimistic about the economy, then we're waiting a very long time. Let's go renew that lease. But if we're waiting for, 5.9, what would be the difference to wait into the spring when the 5.9 projections are the strongest, when all the competition is the strongest, when the herd comes out and you're competing with everybody else versus being right there right now at the 30-year fix, essentially, and having the advantage of the best time to buy. Realtor.com, we put out a summary on this on nowbam.com, says that right now buyers can save $14,000 during the best week to buy a home. I would take the Realtor.com analysis as well as, for BAMX members, you'll probably get some content here at the end of the week, BAMX in a box around this. And I would couple that with my local data. Like I was given the Connecticut example, like you can go back on your MLS and get a screenshot of the last 20 years, and the low level on home prices on 20-year time frame is going to be in those winter months, which means the buyers were out now. They were buying now. They were shopping now. They were going under contract in October, November, December to hit those lowest close points of December, January, February, right? I'd send this data out there so that the data speaks to the conversation that in the narrative that you are pushing. Danielle Hale from Realtor.com says, unlike the past few years, we are seeing ample for sale inventory, which could soak up any late season demand in many markets, making the fall a great time to buy, even if falling mortgage rates amp up more demand than is typical. We've seen a little bit of demand pick up. We went over that yesterday with mortgage applications, but nothing that is so significant that it would start to feel like spring. In fact, it's nothing like what we would expect in the spring. This year, buyers who are looking for that optimum mix, I agree. This is an optimum mix. This is wind at your back. Okay, you get on the 18th tee box and you've been battling the wind all day. All of a sudden, it's at your back. You're tied up. Maybe the person you're playing is pressing the bet here. You want the wind at the back. Optimum mix of ample options and the potential to save on list price are going to find some of the best market dynamics in years during the first week of October. So not only is every year this season that we're entering the best time to buy, but Danielle Hale from Realtor.com is tripling down on that, saying this is almost a better headwind, a better mix of dynamics than we've seen in multiple years. I think we'd all agree with that from a buyer perspective, because we've been in a seller's market for seemingly ever. Okay, here are the particular weeks by location. New York, September 15th to the 21st. And listen, I think it's more of the target. I don't think you have to nail the week as a buyer. It's the target where it's like, we're just getting into that season now where you can negotiate at a higher level. These weeks show the mix of like, okay, there's going to be more inventory now than there will on, November 5th, probably. So, you got to look at it that way. September for New York, Philly, and Washington. Miami is actually January 7th through the 13th. Man, I'd argue earlier in Miami. I'd argue earlier in South Florida. Once you get into season in those places, which is certainly after January 1, sellers are going to want a little bit more money. They're just going to know that the traffic is around the corner. Boston, September, Denver, September, Sacramento, September, Nashville, September, Virginia Beach, September, end of September, San Jose, Milwaukee, Memphis, and Hartford. These are all regions, obviously. September. According to Realtor.com. In 7 metros, the best time for buying a home actually matches the national best week. That'd be Dallas, Austin, Chicago, San Diego, St. Louis, Riverside, and OKC. Where's Jody at for OKC? If the best week feels like it's approaching too quickly, buyers may be happy to hear that the following 2 weeks are the second and third best weeks to buy. Okay. Hannah Jones from Realtor.com. These weeks boast many of the same benefits as the best week, but are slightly less favorable due to falling new listing inventory. And you know your micro market better than anybody. Like those market analysis that Realtor.com puts out, I actually would take anybody here on the hot sheet talking about their micro market over, an analysis like that. They have the Hartford, Connecticut region at end of September. I'd argue it's probably, most locations in Connecticut based on the last 20 years of MLS data there, showing that the lowest prices happen in January and February on any given 12-month cycle. Well, a lot of those went under contract in November. So I'd argue that it's probably more of an October, November timeframe. But anyways, we're kind of pulling hairs there. The point is we are entering the best 3 or 4 months of a buying season than we've seen in, and I would agree with Danielle Hale here, in years. Certainly of this year and definitely in, the multiple last 3 years when you take a look at that. Again, all this will be linked up inside of BAMX. Go ahead and grab it. BAMX members, expect some of that done for you content coming out on Friday around this stuff. Content that we do, that we pull from the data, that you can obviously just use inside of your marketing. It's already done for you, ready to post, ready to, oh boy, what just happened here? All right. Sorry about that. Everything's shut off on my end. I hope I am still up on your end. But anyways, that content's ready for you to post and utilize in your business. Here's some of the hot sheet show notes if you want to even take it further than what you would be posting. And there you go. My screens are going all over the place right now, and I've lost you guys. So I'm hoping I'm still there. I'm going to actually pretend like I am still there. But I got to just see what happened on my screen here to make sure I'm not kicked off of the internet. All my screens.
We are still good to go, Byron.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you for letting me know. That was one of the most insane things I've ever seen. Okay. All right. So there you go. Anything else on this? Nope. I guess you could read about it more if you want with the links inside of BAMX. I would use this. The point is, I'm using this as a headline grabber, as a hook to have a deeper conversation about how important it is to be active and what you can do to negotiate in this season versus other seasons. And you're not having to be a predictor, because a predictor is a very bad business to be in. You can just go ahead and use those headlines to really grab attention to further educate the consumers. Okay. Producer price index came out today. This is an 8:30 a.m. release. The producer price index for final demand increased 0.2% in August. Okay. What does that mean? PPI. This is an inflation reading that came in as expected. Okay. That's the headline. That's important. Wholesale prices rose 0.2 in August. Now another inflation reading that is in line with expectations. Okay. Bureau of Labor Statistics released this morning. We're going to get into unemployment here in just a second, but just going a little bit deeper on this. This is now the final inflation data point that the Fed is going to get before they lower the interest rates next week. How much they're going to lower the interest rates, that remains to be seen. Again, the PPI is not their favorite target. It's not the CPI target, which is the the market's favorite target, but it is another important inflation number that we look at. What are the expectations now that the Fed will do in 6 days from today? Well, it's an 85% expectation from the CME group that it will be a 1/4 point cut. Well, it's a 15% expectation that's going to be a 1/2 point. So all indications really, unless something wild changes between now and then, which there are not many reports that we're expecting. It'd have to be something of the unexpected category to happen that could really change and impact their decision making there. So PPI coming in as expected. more momentum here for JPow and the crew to talk about a potential soft landing again, right? Like the recession word has bubbled up so many times in the last couple of years and then kind of tampered down. These are indications that they're getting there. They're getting closer. Who knows? It might happen. In the week ending of September 7th, here's your unemployment data here for the week. We had initial claims at 230,000. It's an increase of 2,000 from the previous week's revised level. The previous week's level was revised up by 1,000 from 227 to 228. The 4-week moving average is in line with where this came in at 230,750. It's also an increase of 500 from the previous week's revised level. And there you go on unemployment, kind of just holding steady. We did see that unemployment rate drop from 4.3 to 4.2 recently. And obviously, that's good news on that. That is not accelerating up. All right. Again, in case you missed it, 10-year hits a 52-week low today, new 52-week low. This is fantastic news. This is against most expectations on where the 10-year would end the year too. This is well below most expectations on where the 10-year is going to end the year. So we'll take it. And that's why I stress this 30-year fixed could be a moment in time. I'm not saying that what happened in the last time we had a number this low, which was February 2nd, 2023, that we're going to shoot up within 30 days back up over 7. But this is sooner than expectations to be this low. And we've seen plenty of volatility in the last year and a half. It's all on the screen in front of you. There's plenty of examples and case points looking backwards here to point towards this 30-year fixed popping back up. Your buyers, your clients, your consumers need to know that data. It should be sent to them in email and text and phone conversations. You should be having this conversation multiple times a day. Just how we all talk about it here on the hot sheet, I'd be boiling it down and talking to my consumers, because most people just get into the mentality, well, if it's on its way down, it's going to keep going down. It's going to keep going down. And the reality is we've seen this thing pop back up in a hurry. And the difference between 6 and 7% is enormous for a buyer in the time that we're living in right now with how unaffordable housing can seem for many. Okay, hope to see you at BAM Mania, bammania.com to get your tickets. We still have tickets for BAM Mania's VIP group. Those will sell out first, and the general admission. VIP is October 17th and 18th, full day. General admission Legacy Club on October 17th for the party, as well as all day October 18th and the party afterwards at Stadium Swim. Las Vegas, Nevada, circa bammania.com to grab your ticket today. Hope everybody has a great rest of the week. This is signing out for the hot sheet on the week, bearing obviously any enormous breaking news tomorrow. This is the only live show on the internet that covers a 24-hour look back on housing every Monday through Thursday that the markets are open. Hope you enjoyed this week. Hope you're getting a lot of value out of what we do at BAM, and really appreciate all of you. Again, have a great week. Until next time, toodaloo.